Yeah. You can edit it out if you want.
That's okay. I thought we were gonna do like the classic. And a 3, 2, 1.
What's yappanin?
Yep.
Whoa, what's yappanin?
That's because you're an amateur and I'm a professional.
Where are you flying off to?
I've got work to do.
So true. So true. We are so back.
We are so brack.
Yeah, we totally did not take a week off.
Well, I mean, there's an elephant in the room.
What do you mean? I don't know what you're
know.
talking about. Are you
I
talking
don't
about
know.
Are you talking about the
I don't
Pepsi?
know. Sure, we can talk about the Beppis. You're not even saying it right, bro.
It's
Beppis.
Beppis, not Pepsi.
Can you read?
Listen. As far as I'm concerned, is Bepsis? I don't know. Hey, okay. Oh, fuck it. It's B-piss.
Not the bee piss.
It's B-piss at this point.
Okay, hold on. I gotta turn my headset down, because...
Am I loud?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter anymore. I can turn you down, because you have your own sound.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody. We've been gone for a week because of me. Hi, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
And the elephant in the room is that Final Fantasy XIV Online Dawn Trail came out on Friday, and I went hard.
She did.
Yes.
We were like...
This is why I have it on my head.
Yes. I mean, we could have had a little bit more context from last episode, but we also yapped for 40 minutes and then realized that my audio wasn't coming through, so...
Yeah. And that episode still hasn't been uploaded yet, so... We'll be
Well,
a week behind, but...
By the time this episode comes out, it's going to be uploaded.
Yeah, for
So.
sure. But
Yeah. But yeah.
as of July 2nd, it's not up yet, but it will be on Friday.
Yes. So we're a week behind because Savi wanted to take a weekend, which I totally was perfectly
You're
fine
the one
with.
who said it.
Yes,
not
I was
me.
perfectly fine with taking a weekend off from recording so that she can enjoy her Dawn Trail DLC, but also because I wanted to do some editing, which I totally did.
Totally did not do.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's okay. I plan to edit tomorrow. I'm gonna edit this tomorrow and the previous episode.
The
Which
viewers will hold you to that.
It doesn't really matter for you as the viewer because you're gonna be watching it anyway, and it's more of a little womp womp to me.
Womp womp womp.
Yeah. Well, before
Womp, womp, womp.
we hear about the exciting Final Fantasy
Before I start talking for 8 billion
Dawn
years.
Trail, why don't we open
Song
up
of the week. Song
with-
of the week. Song of the week. Song
Yeah.
of the week. You can go first, since mine is from Dawn Trail, and we can use it as a segue.
Yes. So, for my song of the week this week, it's not Joey, Jesus. It's Joe Hisaishi, the composer for practically all of the Studio Ghibli movies. And it's the Merry-Go-Round of Life from Howl's Moving Castle, but a specific version. So it's not like the original from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
They did a re-recording for a good chunk of the Studio Ghibli movies, and this version, which will be down in the description, is just so good. Like, the composing, he's there, it's an orchestra, and he's playing the piano, and it's just heaven on the ears. Like,
First
I
of all,
can't
it's like-
get enough.
Howl's Moving Castle is banging.
Yes. All of the Studio Ghibli movies are banging.
Spirited Away is my favorite, but Howl's Moving Castle is a straight up second right after that.
My favorites are Princess Mononoke, it's my all-time, and then Castle in the Sky, and then Howl's Moving Castle.
Ooh, Castle in the Sky is good. I haven't seen Princess Mononoke.
Oh, it's so good. One of these nights, if we ever do like a movie night in the Discord, I can throw it up.
We should do movie nights. That would be fun.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. I agree with you. Merry-Go-Round of Life is a banger. It's just like that token song that most of everyone knows. And it's not like, oh, that's an anime song. Like, it's funny because it is from an anime movie, but like, for some reason, like, the Ghibli movies just like were pushed so heavily in America, and like most children watched them when they were young.
Yeah.
At least our generation. But
I mean, it's also just like composed music. It's like orchestrated music, and it's like it's
the best.
Just good music. It's genuinely like good music.
I agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. And I did listen to it today while I was at work. In between me spamming the Dawn Trail soundtrack. Well, I also had Twitch open because Twitch is doing a collaboration with Final Fantasy XIV right now, where they are giving people free items if you watch streams for long periods of time. So if you watch for 6 hours, you get a mount in-game. And so I also had that open, too, while I was working. Yeah, I got my mount.
It's like watch time rather than, like, drops.
It is drops, but you don't have to link your Twitch account with Square Enix. They just give you a code, because everything for Final Fantasy, everything for 14 is codes. So we have the Mog Station is a website where all of our additional content is there. And so we just get a code from Twitch, and then we put the code in our Mog Station.
Cool.
So yeah, it was super easy, because like most of the time, like for drops, you have to like go and link your Twitch or whatever, blah blah blah, for the game, and then like you gotta like figure it all out, make sure you accept it, blah blah. But like Square Enix was like, nah, we're too big for that. Just give them a code.
I see.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, let's get into your song of the week and Yap Session.
So, I knew that I was going to pick a song from the soundtrack this week, but I didn't know which one, really. The one that I've been vibing with the most, though, is from one of the dungeons. The dungeon is called Vangaurd, and so it's just the Vangaurd theme. It's just very, like, it's hype music, basically. It's just, like, it's banging, it's EDM, it's got, like, the Final Fantasy music twist on it, and it just goes hard. And so that's the one I picked. It was a close one between that one and the Level 99 Trial music. I can send that one to you as well, James, so you can just listen to it later. But that one is also, like, hype music, banging as fuck. But yeah, so the Vanguard dungeon, I think it's like level 96. It's like halfway through the story. So the first couple dungeons have like more. Let me just back up. So the main theme of Dawn Trail is like you're going to another continent, and it's very like Amazon jungle, like beach vacation, like type deal. So a lot of the first dungeon songs were kind of like that vibe, like jungly, like trumpets and like bongos and all that. And then like you get to halfway through the expansion, and then you run into this cyberpunk city, and everything just becomes EDM hype music. And it was so awesome. Like, but it was just kind of like a 180 flip. But yeah, so should I get to like a TLDR of how it was?
Yeah, give us a TLDR. Give us for those people at home who don't know.
For the people in the back.
What happened to the world of Final Fantasy XIV?
Well, first of all, the servers were congested, at least on a few of the data centers. So the data centers are like your regional ones. So like we have NA servers, and then we have EU servers, and we have Australia servers and Japan servers. The NA servers, there's 4 of them, and 3 of them were pretty much full, and then 1 of them is newer, so it doesn't have a lot of people on it initially. So it's funny because to combat this, Square Enix was literally having their PR people post on all of their social media with a guide on how to go and visit this other data center that's empty in order to like relieve the queue and the server buildup. They were they posted it several times over the weekend, like literally begging people to move to that server to play, because like the servers started crashing and stuff like that, and the queue times were like, the waiting list was like getting up to like 10,000 in some servers and stuff like that. So it was kind of crazy, but they were literally begging for people to go to the empty data center, which I thought was funny. But yeah,
wait,
so we what?
So like, why didn't people go? Like,
well, so there are pros and cons. So like, the pro of going there is obviously you have no queue time, and you can play and do whatever. But the cons is like there is some stuff that you can't access when you're not on your home world. So your home world is the world that you created your character on. So like, you can't access your mailbox, you can't access your summoning bell that has retainers, which they are just basically extra storage space for you, and they sell items for you. You can't access those. You also cannot have your guild benefits. So like, for guilds you can throw up like actions, like passive actions, like there's XP bonuses, there's crafting bonuses, there's like reduced teleporting like rates, so it like makes it cost less to teleport between worlds, and stuff like that. So there are a few cons, and so people want to be on their home world because they want the extra XP while they level the new classes, and they want to be able to like be in their FC like guild and play with their friends, blah blah blah. But I don't care about all that. I wanted to play the game, and I had a hard stop goal of beating the entire MSQ before the work week, because not only am I working this week, I also have my mom visiting later in the week for 4th of July weekend and such, and so like I'm not gonna be able to play very much. So I was like, we're playing early access, we're pulling all-nighters, and we're beating this before the work week because I want to beat it. So, and
it happened.
It did indeed happen. We beat it at like 7:30 p.m. on Sunday night Eastern time, which was crazy.
Fake
so yeah,
time, by the way.
I know. I hate it here, to be honest. But so on Friday, June 28th, early access dropped at 5 a.m. Nathan and I were awake, and we got into queue. And it wasn't that long. We waited probably like 30 to 45 minutes. And this was for our home world, which is on the congested data centers. Because we had to grab some mail-in stuff for our pre-order bonus that we got. And we played for a little while. Then we eventually moved to Dynamis to play with some other friends and skip the queues. But then we stayed up until like 1 a.m. Friday night and went to bed for like 2 hours, and then woke back up and continued. and then at like 8 a.m. we both were like unable to keep our eyes open, and so we took another 2-hour nap at like 8 a.m. and then we got back to it after 2 hours. And then Saturday night we went to sleep at like midnight because we wanted to prep for the work week, so we actually got a full night to sleep and then got back to it at like 8 a.m. the next day, on Sunday, and then we beat the game at like 7:30 p.m. It was crazy.
Damn.
It was absolutely crazy. So, spoiler warning, for people who probably have not done it by this time. I don't know. I feel like the majority of people are going to have MSQ done in 2 weeks, but I don't know. So, spoiler warning, but I'm going to give the TLDR. So, Dawn Trail it happens right after the previous expansion, Endwalker, which was the end of the main saga of the game. So from A Realm Reborn, Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and Endwalker, they are part of a saga. And that whole arc ended with Endwalker, hence the name. And so Dawn Trail is like us, the Warrior of Light, going on vacation, basically. It was like, we love to adventure, and so, like, we're gonna do that. We're gonna just, like, go on a vacay, we're gonna go adventure. So, a Hrothgar woman, which are the Lion women, named Wuklamat, came to visit Eorzea, which is the main world, and she was looking for people to recruit for aid in her right of succession of the throne of Tuliolal of Tural. So Tural is the continent, the country, and then Tuliolal is the capital city. And so she was going to do the right of succession for the throne, which is just like a trial competition between others. And so she came to Eorzea to find people to do it with her. Lo and behold, she found us, and we all went over to Tural to do the trial with her. So the beginning of the story is you basically go through the trial with her. You get these tablets from the king, her father, and you have to collect gemstones that fit into the tablets in order to open the gate to the Golden City, which is like a rumored mythological place, like tale of legend that most people in Tural know about, but nobody has ever been able to find it, is what people say. So in order for them to get the throne, they had to complete the trial, get all the tablet gemstones, and then find the Golden City. So you go across all of the lands, and you do that. One point in time, about in the middle of the trial, Wuklamat gets stolen. She gets kidnapped by one of the other contenders. His name is Bakul Jaja, which he's like a lizard guy with 2 heads. And the thing about the lizard with the 2 heads is they're like considered blessed because it doesn't happen very often. So he was like all up in his ego, like, I'm the true heir because I am blessed twins, whatever. So he was just an asshole throughout the whole thing. And so he kidnapped Wuklamat to stop her in her tracks, and so that he could steal all of her gemstones, because he's not actually good at adventuring. He's actually just not the only thing he can do is swing his sword, pretty much. So then we have to go save her. We save her, we get our gemstone back, whatever, and then we keep going. Do some dungeons, fight some trials, kill some peeps, and then by the end of it, Wuklamat wins. And so we find the Golden City, we get there, and it's a giant portal. But we don't really know that yet, but it's a portal. It's a door to somewhere. And you get there, and there's this glowing rock, and it looks very I don't know. It doesn't look like anything you've ever seen in the game before. And so you go there, but we didn't go in. We just went there. The goal was to find it. And so the king comes to the portal and he's like, all right, congrats, you found it, hooray. And then we leave. We don't even go through the portal yet. And so at first I was like, what the fuck? We can't even go in? Like, what? Hello? How are we supposed to know, like, what it is if we can't even go in? Nope, didn't go in yet. Continued the story. You get back to the castle, you celebrate Wuklamat. She ends up appointing her brother, who was also in the running, as her other half, because the king was also a blessed two-headed lizard guy. And so their whole spiel is that one head is the vow of resolve and the other head is the vow of reason. And so they work together to rule the country. So Wuklamat was the vow of resolve, and then she appointed her brother as the vow of reason. And so they became the Dawn Servants, which is what the actual term is. And they started to rule. Happy hunky-dory, right? Hooray! Everyone wins. Nope. An invasion by robots.
Robots?
Yes. Yes, and I could send pictures of everything. Here, let me just grab some pictures.
Was one of the heads, like, covered?
Yeah, so I'll get to that. But yeah, the second one is Bakul Jaja. So, the Blessed Twins, they're like two different species of the lizards together. Like, one fucks the other and basically becomes the Blessed Twins. But that doesn't happen very often. Anyway. So where was I? Alright, invasion by robots. I can pause before that and explain the head that's covered. So the head that's covered is the head of reason. And the one that's not is the vow of resolve. They're called vows. I don't know why I said head. But, so the vow of reason has apparently been sleeping for the past 3 years. And hasn't really been active at all. And so...
Bro, what did you just smack the shit out of him? Wake him up.
Right. But, yeah, so... The one brother just had to basically do everything for a good while. Because he's old. He's getting old. Hence why he's, like, looking for someone to take over the throne. Anyway, so Wuklamat and her brother Kona... I can find a picture of him too, but they take over as Dawn Servant, and then, like, literally the next day, invasion by robots. But a cutscene happens right before the invasion of robots, like a little bit before that, and you see another one of her brothers. His name is Zarulja, who is the blood son of the king. So he actually had a child, which is like impossible for the blessed lizards. It's like never been heard of. And so he was like also like in it because he was like, I'm the rightful heir, I am the blood son, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, he turned out to be like kind of an asshole as well. Like, he wasn't as bad of an asshole as Bakul Jaja, but like he also was just like, he was all for war and not peace. And Wuklamat's, like, whatever was for peace for all of the lands everywhere. But her brother Zaruldra wanted to, like, go and conquer other places and create war. So that was his whole thing. But right before the invasion, you see a cutscene of Zaruldra walking through the gate to the Golden City. And that's it. He walks in. He goes through. He kills his, like, servant dude that he has with him the whole time throughout the trial. He kills that guy and then walks through the portal. And then, like, a few cutscenes later, the invasion happens of robots. So, yeah, so that was funny, but also not funny. Here's a picture of Kona. And I'll grab a picture of Zaraldra. Zeralja.
I need like a whole... I low-key will probably need like a video.
A whole video?
To
You could
understand
probably
this.
find a video. Yeah, I'm skipping so many details. Because I could talk about it forever. And I don't want to talk about it forever because it's probably not interesting for most people. But anyway, so he goes through the portal, invasion by robots. And then we're all like, what the fuck? And then in this other part of the continent, I think it's the northern side, this dome of lightning appears right when the invasion happens. And so that's where the source is from. And so then you end up fighting in the invasion, blah, blah. Then you end up at the palace with Wukmamat, her brother, all of the peeps. We all go to the palace because we're like, what the fuck is happening? Well, Zeralja's there. And he doesn't look like the picture that I sent you. He, in fact, has, like, mecha gear on. Which is crazy. And then he's, like, head face on with his father. Well, they fight. And the father, like, strikes him down. And pretty much kills him. And then it's like, okay, well, fuck, I just killed my son. But I had to do it because he's evil. It turns out we're all just the leader of these robot people.
Oh.
So, yeah. But there's a twist. He reses himself. And then he kills the father. So the king is dead. And Zeralja has resed himself somehow. That's, like, not a thing, really. I mean, it's obviously a part of, like, the mechanics of the game. But you don't really just, like, res without trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's, like, a little device on the side of his head that, like, started to glow, and it resed him. And everybody was like, what in the fuck? And then the king is killed. Yeah, but there's no time to mourn the death of your father when you're the Dawn Servant. Anyway, king is dead. And so then Zeralja is just like Wukmamat tries to fight him, and then he's like, come to my kingdom and fight me, like, if you want to prove that you're the actual, like, that you're fit to be the Dawn Servant, and I'm not. And then he left. He literally just walked away. It was really fucking annoying. But yeah, there's no time to mourn when you're the new appointed Dawn Servant, so Wukmamat and Kona just, like, go out into the town trying to, like, heal people, gather the injured, assess everything, blah, blah. Wukmamat has a moment, obviously, because her father just died, and we console her, blah, blah. Then the course of action is to go to Zeralja. So we go to that lightning dome place. We find this princess lady who shows up, and she's like, hello, welcome to the kingdom of Alexandria. And we're like, what? Turns out that dome is like a fusion of reality, and they're from another world, like 30 years in the future.
Uh-huh.
And so all of those people that were in that town that the dome filled over are now like 30 years older. Yeah. And so you kind of go through that. This princess lady's like, she seems really kind, and she talks about how she loves her people so much, so dearly, like she will do anything for them, like, and we go and help her do some things or whatever, and she's like, I am the queen of this kingdom, and Zeralja is the king. I don't really agree with what he's doing, but we needed him in our time of weakness, blah, blah, blah. And he's, like, using her armies and tech to, like, to feed his war that he wanted. And so, yeah. So she kind of, like, briefly explains that, sort of, and then, like, she kind of says, like, I want to tell you something, but every time that happened, a robot would walk by, and she's like, I can't tell you right now, blah, blah, blah. So, she kept doing that throughout us, like, questing around. And then we end up going into, like, this, I don't even know what it's like a building or whatever, and it was like a whole city inside of a building called Solution 9, and this was like the cyberpunk city, and it was crazy. So you go in the city, and everybody's got like cyberpunk outfits on, everybody's got those devices on their head, and all that, and then you try to like figure out a plan to get Zeralja like distracted, while Kona is at the palace like figuring out how to bolster their defenses. So the plan was for Wiklamat to go to Zeralja and fight him, and then like before he would send his troops, like Kona would have enough time to defend Tuliolal. And so that was the plan. So we did that in the midst of that. We ended up meeting a tiny little lizard dude who seemed like an orphan, and the people that he was like hanging out with ended up naming him Galuja, which is the same name as the king, except he just has one jaw instead of two because he's one-headed. So his name was Galuja, and we were like, okay, that's weird. Come to find out, he's Zeralja's son, which is crazy. It's like, what the fuck? First of all, who let him procreate? And second of all, whoa, time moves super fast in this place. So, yeah, that's important for later. But, so we get to Zeralja. He just kind of, like, ends up having a fit. Wiklamat, we learn about the intricacies of the city while we're questing, and Wiklamat finds out that she needs to break his regulator on his head in order to beat him, because he's too strong if he has the powers. So she does that. She breaks his regulator, and then he just kind of like bursts into a fit of rage, kills one of the officers under him, and then he direct orders basically a genocide of the Alexandrian people. So the people in that cyberpunk city, instead of like going the people of Tuliolal. So yeah. So he did that. And then we work with the princess to, like, go and stop him. And so we do that, and we find out that she's kind of, she's, like, dead, but not dead. She's basically, like, an AI version of herself with the memories and soul of the old Queen of Alexandria, who died a long time ago. So we find that out during this whole kerfluffle. And yeah, so then he ends up attacking Tuliolal. Their defenses are bolstered. They're fine. And we win that fight. And then we go and fight him. We go through a dungeon, get to the top of the building, we fight him, and he has taken all of those souls that he murdered from the Alexandrian people and just used them to make him absolutely mega strong. And so we fight him as a trial, kill him, and then the queen shows up. And the artifact that Zeralja used to open the portal to the Golden City appears out of, I guess, like, his pockets or whatever, since he's dead. And she, like, grabs it, and she's like, I will do whatever I can for my people. I will, like, protect them at all costs, blah, blah, blah. And we're, like, still kind of confused. We're like, what is happening? Like, blah, blah, blah. But it turns out that the Endless are what she is. So there are lots of people in this Golden City, like, beyond the portal, that are dead, and their souls and memories have been preserved, but they need massive amounts of aether to sustain them. And so come to find out that the queen came to our world. She used that artifact for interdimensional fusion and came to our world to kill everyone in Tural and take their aether to sustain the Endless people, the dead people. So she goes through the portal to the Golden City, and we're like, what the fuck? She's gone. We gotta go there. The dome goes away, and the people that were still there are still there. That city is still there. And they're just kind of like trying to figure out what to do with their lives now. So then we go to the Golden City to fight the queen, because obviously, like, what the fuck? We can't let this bitch do this. And so we go there, and it's like an amusement park. It's crazy. It was awesome looking. I took a screenshot in the city, and I'll have to get it to you later because I gotta get it off my PlayStation, but you can throw that in too in the editing. But it was crazy. But the thing is we had to turn off all of the memory drives in order to turn off all of the endless people before the queen, like, did her whole, like, memory interdimensional, like, her plan was to go to other places and do the same thing and, like, kill more people. So we had to stop her. But we had to turn off the memory drives to kill the endless people, because if we didn't do that, it would have been harder to fight her in the end. So that was really depressing, because a lot of the people that we had to shut off their drives were people that we knew. And it was really sad, because we had to murder them, essentially. And yeah. And so it was really sad. And I hated that part. I cried through, like, a lot of it. But, yeah, so you shut off all the drives, and you go to the main drive where the queen is, where her memories and soul are. And basically, you fight her. But you get into the fight, and all of our friends get kicked out by her, so it's just us. And then you do the trial, you fight her, and Wook finds a weakness in, like, the barrier or whatever, and so Wook ends up coming in during the fight. And she's, like, trying to talk to Queen Sphene and, like, convince her to not do this, blah, 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 blah. You beat her, and then Sphene, like, obviously she is an endless, and we basically shut off her drive, so she disappears. Happy ending type deal. And then we all leave that area, and we go back to normal life. And that was the end. Crazy, huh?
What if Dawn Trail was just the trails we made along the way?
Correct. Yeah, so it was kind of a slow story in the beginning, because you're just kind of, like, questing. You're just doing, like, adventure things, which is, like, for me, I thought it was nice. It was nice to just be an adventurer for once and not have the weight of the world weighting down on your shoulders. And they made it very much, like, not about you as the protagonist, and more like Wook and, like, her story and blah, blah, blah. And so it was nice to have a break. A lot of people are pissed off because of that, but what they're doing is they're comparing it to Endwalker and all of the stuff beforehand, and that's just, it's not comparable. This is the beginning of a new story. It's gonna be slow, and you gotta give it time to pick up. But it picked up really fast, like, halfway through, when you go to that dome and you find out, like, all of the shit with all these people, and they're, like, resin when they die, and, like, anytime someone dies, like, their memory, like, the memory of the people that are still alive, it wipes them clean, so they don't even remember the person that died anymore. It's like, they... like the queen... Yeah, so, like, the queen thought it would be, like, a good thing to, like, take away the memories, because grieving is bad. You know what I mean? So, like, all of the people that knew that person that died don't know them anymore. And so they don't grieve. Like an act of kindness type deal. So, yeah, it was, like, a whole fucked up situation, pretty much. But this expansion comes in close second after Dawn Trail. Or after Endwalker, sorry. Because, I don't know, it was so awesome. The dungeons were amazing. The trials were amazing. They added amazing new DPS classes. So they added in Viper, which is a double sworded class, and Pictomancer, which is painting. And I've been playing Pictomancer, and that shit has been super fun. It's basically you can like paint enemies and then they fight for you. You can like paint landscapes and it gives you buffs, blah blah. So it was really cool. But yeah, so I am still enjoying Dawn Trail. I've still been playing it. Just because we beat the MSQ doesn't mean we're done. There's still side stuff we can do, and there's still the endgame content we can do. And so I haven't beaten it all in entirety, but the story, we're done with the story, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you had a good time, and I'm glad that the story was very good in some ways.
Yeah. You'll have to look up a video if you want. But yeah, so it was nice to have the little summer vacation and adventure, and then it was also nice to, of course, protect the world, as is our duty. So
yeah, it like reminds me of that one time, or like that one game where you're like on summer vacation and then you just like chilling with your friends, and then out of nowhere like these glitches start happening, and then a key just like spawns in your hand, and then you find out that there's this kid
Are you
sleeping.
talking about Kingdom Hearts 365 days?
No, I'm talking about Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh.
Because you
Yeah,
literally
same
just
thing.
like wake up, like you start the game and you're Roxas, and if you haven't played any of the games in between, you go from Kingdom Hearts 1 and then you go to Kingdom Hearts 2 and you're like, who the fuck is Roxas?
Same game developers, same as Square Enix.
Yep.
So, in classic Square Enix fashion, we could say.
Yes.
But
And they definitely don't. In classic Square Enix fashion, they also dislike very easy linear storylines.
yeah, correct. They gotta make everything difficult for the player, but also make it worth it in the end. Somehow they make it worth it in the end.
Yep.
Every single time.
Yep.
But yeah, so I've been playing this game with my friends. It is an MMORPG, so we've all been kind of banding together.
And she's finally streaming again.
And I did stream yesterday. Yeah, I didn't stream over the weekend because I did end up deciding to just bask in it and take it all in. And I'm glad I decided to do that because, for one, I would be streaming for like 24 hours at one point, and I just, you know, I don't know if I'm ready to do that stuff yet. Eventually, but yeah. But yeah, I did stream yesterday. I did stream some Final Fantasy XIV. I did some leveling of my Pictomancer with some friends and stuff, and it was a lot of fun, and I will be playing more on stream for the next couple months, because this is going to be my main game for the next couple months until I get burnt out. So.
Well, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, bro. It was literally amazing. I would rate it a 1 billion out of 10.
And then
A solid
Endwalker?
1 billion out of 10. Endwalker is like 10 billion out of 10.
I see.
So it's very close to Endwalker. But it's also, like, hard to compare, because Endwalker was the end of a saga, and so, like, nothing can really be better than that.
I see.
Like, but this one was so good. They just keep improving, like, everything. Like, the mechanics in the fights, like, got more interesting. We saw some new things. We got, like, new banging music, of course. Somehow they keep making the music better each expansion, which is awesome. I am a giant music nerd, and the music is what sends me It's what gives me my immersion, basically, into the game. And so they improved that. They added a crap ton of quality of life stuff into the game, just in general, like in the fabrics of the game. And overall, it just was an amazing expansion.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
It was crazy. Anyway, we do have another topic to talk about today that we talked about in our last podcast, but it was when our audio was cut out, so we're gonna talk about it again in more length.
Well, yeah,
to cover the other half.
I could also expand on it, because, I mean, we finally did end up going.
Yeah. Well, just start from the beginning, because they need the context.
Oh, God. So, let's see here. I have to, actually go into the server and figure it out.
Give you some time to talk so I can rest my...
Your voice?
My voice.
The 40-minute Dawn Trail Yap session.
I could go longer, but I'm not going to.
It's okay. It is all good. So, alright. To start this sort of story off, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Something like that. It had been going on for a little while.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and let me see, hold up. I have to I'm gonna cut this out, but I have to find it. Because it started out as... Alright, here we go. Alright, so... Yes, this story starts out about 2 weeks ago. And initially, we had a plan at the beginning of the month of June to go to Waterworld. That didn't end up happening, got scrapped completely. And then, after a while, we decided, our buddy's back from work. He does 2 on, 2 off work schedule. And we're going to spend some time with him. Find out that we made plans to go camping, and essentially everybody's on board. We're like, yeah, we'd love to go camping, whatnot. We pick a location, and then I think the big thing for a lot of people was we need to be able to access this place. For me personally, I have a lower profile car, or compact car, kind of low down to the ground, not really meant for off-roading. And online it said that it's recommended you go 4-wheel drive, high clearance vehicles. I'm like, well, okay, I want to go, but I need to know how the conditions are. So I say that to the group. And then I guess everybody everybody is free thinkers in this Discord. So once somebody says something, then everybody follows. So
no, that would be not free thinkers. That would be followers.
Well, exactly. That's why I'm highlighting that everybody's a free thinker, because then everybody formed their opinion that they wanted to wait and hear about the road condition. So I live in the Discord server of free thinkers.
Not the free thinkers.
Yeah, so I'm waiting to hear a scope out. Okay? That gets scrapped. We hear back from the main guy. He's like, I think I'm just gonna go camping. We're gonna plan something different. We'll wait, we'll plan it out a month. And...
just basically planned better, because it was
a
little bit sort of last minute.
Yeah, it was Friday. It was Thursday night, and we were gonna leave Friday night. Friday night, some people were gonna be Friday morning, and then we were gonna stay Friday night, Saturday night, and then come back Sunday. So it was pretty tight. Didn't plan out. Gets canceled, and we were like, well, we still kind of want to hang out. We still want to, like, do stuff together. And then we're like, well, we try to go to Waterworld, or we tried going to the water park, or get drinks. And so we're like, all right, bet, let's do that instead. So everybody's like, free thinker, of course. We're like, okay, everybody's like, we're down. So same thing. The same thing happens. And then we're just like sitting here talking it through, and like there's no solid plans. Like everybody's kind of doing their own thing.
Like,
and then the weekend comes up, and I'm like news flash. What are we doing? Like, are we
they
gonna
literally
go?
kept going in circles in this chat, and I'm just reading it. Like, they literally could not decide on a solid plan.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get this out of here. Like, I gotta figure things out, and I'm like, in all caps, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Are we going to the water park this weekend? And then, like, everybody's like trying to sort things out. Like, I think at this point, like, Phoebe, like, all caps says verbatim, I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but frankly, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
I'd like to just know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like, I want to go. I think we should go. We could pack a cooler. We can go at 10, and then, like, finish out around, like, 3, 4, have a good time, and then we're just like, okay, bet. So
Plan set.
we get, like, plan set. It's like we're chilling, and then it's like 5. No. Yeah, there's like 5 of us going. We're chilling. Wake up, and I wake up, get ready, and then we get breakfast, and the guy who was gonna go camping and also wanted to do something texts us and is like, yo, I gotta cancel. So we're already 2 plans down. So
Yep.
we're already
Fumbled the
0-2.
bag twice.
Yes, we're already 0-2 for plans. And we're like, all right, well, he canceled. We might as well just like wait for another weekend, not go. And then that day we ended up doing something else. And then my roommate practically gave himself alcohol poisoning, which also ruined that. So
I remember that.
0-3 for plans. But mainly because most of it was just spent of him dying. And so this is 0-3 for plans in 1 weekend. Now we get to the following weekend. Or we're trying to make plans for the following weekend. So we had a friend who planned a grad party for
like his college graduation.
Yeah, his college graduation. Yeah. He graduated, and he's like, yo, I'm planning to do something the final week of June, which was this last weekend.
Yep.
And this motherfucker, I swear, is the worst person to get a hold of and does some dumb shit. So before the week starts, at the beginning of the week, I'm like, hey, what are the plans?
Well, no, because it's funny because he was the one that planned it for that week in particular. He just kind of like wanted to get together, hang out, do whatever, blah, blah, do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For his graduation, whatever.
Yeah.
So you were trying to follow up on that.
Yeah, the same day, like the weekend prior, I'm like, hey, what's the plan? Like, what's the plan for your grad party? And then as a joke, I threw in, why don't we go to the water park since we never went? I'm like, why don't we go to the water park for your grad party? That would be fun.
Yep.
And I'm like, I texted him. I DM'd him. At some point.
I didn't know you DM'd him. I thought you were talking to him in our server.
I
Wow.
did. So
Extra scoop.
I DM'd him. I DM'd him the weekend, like, we were planning, like, the week we were...
your plans fumbled.
Yeah, the weekend that we went 0-3. I was like, hey, is your grad party next weekend? And he says, and I said, what time and day? And he's like, I'm not sure. I might not do it. I'll plan it this week and see what I need to do. And I'm like, okay, word. So 4 days go by.
First red flag.
Yeah. 4 days go by, hear nothing.
Foreshadowing.
And I throw out the thing, I'm like, hey, water park, grad party, thoughts? And I was like,
Thoughts.
You haven't said anything. And then one of our other friends, he follows up the same text thread the same day, but like at night. I sent that text at like 10 in the morning. My buddy follows up. He's like, seriously, we need to know details at like 8 p.m. And then the next day, nothing. Nobody's heard from him. Nobody's heard from him.
No. Let me back you up, because he did join the voice chat and hang out with us throughout. He just didn't respond to the text messages in our server.
Yes. He was actively playing with us, playing games with us, and not acknowledging the fact that we needed information from him.
I'm sorry.
And so,
it's just so funny.
And so at this point, I'm like, okay, this motherfucker is like, he's 6 days in, and he's like, I'm gonna plan it this week. 6 days later, no plan. And so I spam ping him in our server. I'm like, please answer the question. And then here's the best part. I said, hey bozo, answer the question.
Yeah.
But then, like, I don't remember like what it was, but it was it the same day where he responded in the league chat? Yes.
Oh,
yes, it was.
Well, no, first he responded to that message, to you spamming him and saying, answer the question. He then responded, want to go to Waterworld again next weekend? I'm down. Meaning that they went the previous weekend when we had a whole conversation about how they didn't go. So
and
homie just didn't read at all.
Yeah,
and he was like, oh, you guys want to go again? Okay.
Yeah, we explicitly said, and in call, that we had canceled it. We canceled plans, we didn't go to Waterworld, and then he proceeds to say, wait, so you just want to go to Waterworld again next weekend? I'm down. And I'm like, this guy. I'm like, I don't understand. Savi responds to him. Savi says, damn, this homie really does not read the Discord. And then later that day, that same day.
Yeah, he didn't respond to those messages that we said about him.
We were talking in the league chat about like the new skin line, whatever. And then he responds there. He responds to the fucking league skins, and he's like, yo, that's sick as fuck. Like, this is so sick. Like, whatever. And Zan's like, bro responds faster about a league update than his own grad party. And he's like, cancel it or give us something. And then he just says, honestly, down for Waterworld. And I'm like, at this point, like, it has been like 6 days that I've been trying to get shit out of him. Like, he's given us no plans, like, nothing. And then he's like, all right, I'm down for Waterworld. And then I just hit him with the shrimp from, was it Shark Tales?
Yeah.
Yeah, the shrimp from Shark Tale. And it has the caption, krill yourself.
Krill yourself. No, it's not Shark Tale. It's Happy Feet.
Happy Feet.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. This guy refuses to just respond. And then, like, finally responds to the plans. And then he's like, alright. Goes into a conversation and then is like, yeah, let's go, like, midday. I'm not sure, like, how it's gonna be. Like, I don't know what the weather was like last time. What the fuck do you mean last time? We already covered that we didn't go twice. Twice. And then finally Phoebe's like,
what time did y'all do last time? I don't know the weather up there. He says we did not. Murph canceled.
and then he sends a gif of a fucking minion saying what? And then somebody responds, bro spent a month in the hyperbolic time chamber. No idea what's going on outside. It's a Dragon Ball reference.
That sent me. That sent me the fucking hyperbolic.
The hyperbolic time chamber, for anybody who doesn't know, is a Dragon Ball reference. And the whole bit about that is that 1 hour in 1 hour outside is a whole day inside. And so, like, this dude is just lost. Like, he's completely lost. And so,
that's our friend. Yep.
yeah. And so finally, we get plans. We finally consolidate. He finally puts on his big boy pants and is like, official plan for the weekend.
Yep.
We get drinks Saturday and then go to Waterworld on Sunday. And guess what? It happened.
It happened.
We did it. It happened. After
now
booking,
you're 1 in 3.
We're 1 in.
And it's really funny that was the plan that worked. Like the dichotomy of it all. That's the plan that actually happened.
The plan that almost gave everyone a fucking stroke worked.
Oh my god. It's funny too because I'm just like I'm just reading this chat. It hurt me. Yes. I'm not even a part of it and it hurt me.
Yes. So yeah, we have in our Discord we have it's called Daily Life, and that's the chat, and it's like people who we know IRL, and so that's kind of like where the chat we use to like talk to the people we know IRL, make plans,
and me
kind of, and put we through links we know you IRL technically.
Yeah,
like
I've technically met.
Yeah, you've met Phoebe.
I have met Phoebe, yes.
Yeah. So
I think that's the only one.
There's like, it's just a chat where we share like snippets of our lives, make plans, try and make plans with people, and like I guess we didn't.
It's
really
kind of like our
this.
Facebook group in our Discord. Like kind of, give life updates and stuff.
Yeah, and kind of just like random shit throw in there sometimes. Like I think like every once in a while we'll throw in
something random.
Yeah, something random. Like we took some photos of us getting drinks and stuff like that. Phoebe got piercings, so that was cool. which she's terrible at taking fucking photos.
Yeah. So it ended. It had a happy ending.
It did. It did have an happy ending. It was fun.
It was a bumpy road, but you got to the end. You got to the finish line.
Yeah, I genuinely never had such a poor planning experience like that ever in my life. I think it was just like I think that literally took a year off my lifespan.
Yeah.
Just trying to plan with this kid. So awful.
Well, I think that's about time that we've got for today. We yapped quite a bit. And we only talked about 2 things, really.
Yes. We did.
So.
Only 2 things. I did. There's a lot of stuff that I do want to talk about next week, though.
Yeah, we got a lot of little snippets of talking points that we have coming up on the docket for the next episodes. So we will not bore you with, I will not bore you with my nerding out next episode. It will be more interesting, I promise.
Yeah.
But we hope that our funny story made up for the boring yappening of me. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway. Well, we are going to upload our last episode on this Friday as we speak. So it would be Friday the 5th. And we will get back on track for our upload schedule. So.
Yes.
We will see you in the next one.
Goodbye.